How y'all doing? I'm Paul Ryan, your host of the Across the Cowboys podcast. If you're new to the show, thank you for joining us. And to our regular listeners, welcome back. With me, as always, is my co-host, the greatest co-host in the world, Mike The Pig Crum. Mike, how are you?
I'm good. I want to make sure you still meant me. We have another one. I was like, oh, maybe he's already taken over. Glad to hear my name came out after that. I was like, okay, I'm still number one.
No, I think that guy's probably going to be the greatest host at some point.
I agree 100% with you.
Well, Mike, before we get started talking tonight, where can we find you on Twitter, sir?
At CD Piglet, guys, nice and easy.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. Well, Mike, with the Cowboys in the NFL making roster cuts today, we thought it would be a good idea to bring in another voice to discuss the Cowboys' moves. With us tonight is an up-and-coming superstar, Cowboys content creator, and newest member of the Across the Cowboys family. You can hear him every Friday night talking all things Cowboys on Twitter. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome back to the show, Mr. Brenden Smith. Brenden, how are you?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me back.
Yes, sir.
Welcome back, my friend.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Brenden, where can we find you on Twitter?
At Brenden_Smith26.
Yes, sir. Well, guys, we are on a Tuesday night instead of a Monday night like we usually do. The reason being is Mike had a fantasy football draft last night, so we decided to reschedule the show. And instead of Meatless Monday, we're going to talk about Mike's fantasy team. So, Mike, let's get after it, sir. This league, is this a paid league or a free league?
It was free for me, so I think it was free. They asked me to jump on, and I was like, yeah, sure. What day, what time? I'll be there.
What pick did you have in the draft?
I was fourth, I think. Fourth? Yes, I was fourth.
You seem to know quite a bit about this team of yours, Mike.
Yeah, they your guess is as good as mine, Paul, like literally.
Okay, so guys, just so y'all know, last night Mike was having issues with logging into Yahoo. I don't know who still plays on that format. No disrespect to Yahoo, but it is a bit difficult to navigate and get on and figure out and everything. So when I found that out, I told Mike that I'd help him out. I downloaded the app and I logged in so he wouldn't have an auto drafted team, and I ended up drafting his team for him. Mike, I'm curious. You just recently looked over your team. What are your thoughts on the team I drafted for you?
I like some of the picks. I like I wish I knew, like, I could be more informative if I knew when they went, and who went around those picks. I love a few of your receivers. I thought were really smart risk picks. Marvin Mims. I love Watson. That was a good pick. I think Jared Goff is a solid quarterback to get depending on when you got him. I think he could put up a lot of points, especially with that offensive line, his weapons around him. We'll see how much they let him throw when he gets in the red zone. And you paired him with
Amon-Ra.
And so he I like that stack. Sorry, pair. God, it's been a minute since I've talked fantasy. Stack. And so I like the team. I just was upset because I couldn't get on in time, and they auto-drafted the first pick, Eckler, and I was like, I hate my life right now. That is not a pick I would have made. And I was like, you know what? I can't get on. I'm having trouble. I'm going to auto-draft it. And I was talking to you because we made the pod over to get there, and then you were like, I'll go on. Just give me your information. I'll go on and do it, and you can manage it. And I was like, okay, sounds good. And I'll manage it once it comes up. But at the time, I was irritated, and I didn't want to do it. But I will.
I won't lie. I did kind of reach for guys, thinking that I was kind of shooting for upside based on some of the picks that had been made prior to me logging on. So, maybe some picks were a bit of a reach, if you want to call it that. But I think you got a lot of upside, guys, personally.
I agree. There's a lot of potential breakout candidates that could be a Brock Purdy type. Like, Trey Lance didn't work out, but you got Brock Purdy, and so you still get the play, even though you got it at a ADP that maybe you don't love.
Right.
Well, Mike, is there anything you would have done differently with, Paul drafting and stuff?
If it's just hard to say without knowing what was around. we'll see about how many touchdowns Zeke is going to steal from the New England running back. What's his name, Paul?
Ramondre Stevenson.
Yeah, Ramondre Stevenson. Ezekiel Elliott might be a points thief on that one. Yeah. But I honestly, I thought he killed it with the wide receivers. I think he got a good quarterback for a one quarterback league. And so it's going to be on how I play the running backs and when I play the upside guys, and if they hit, are going to be a lot of what's going to determine how that team does.
Yes, sir. Well, Mike, for the audience, just list off your team, the players on your team, real quick.
Hold on, I got to grab
for the audio listeners. I think it's a good team, man, especially for a 1 QB league. I will say, I wish I would have gotten. I got sniped at tight end, but I did maybe wait a little bit too long there. But man, I think Gerald Everett is going to have a good year with Justin Herbert and Kellen Moore.
Did you try to sneak Jake Ferguson?
I was going to, but he actually got sniped. Here's Prescott here for you, Brenden. I see Brenden Smith there, but I don't see the up-and-coming superstar that you'd mentioned, Paul. Just kidding, Brenden. Welcome aboard, sir.
Thanks, Matthew. Thank you.
All right, so I got, as mentioned, Goff and St. Brown. We got T. Higgins, who I should have mentioned right off. That's a great pick. That guy is going to be a points machine if he's healthy. Eckler, Stevenson, Everett's the tight end. I got Ayuk, who I love. He could have a breakout fantasy year this year. Cook from Buffalo is the flex running back. Watson, White from Tampa Bay, running back. Moore, P. Ryan. You got Sky Moore too. So we got Elijah Moore from Cleveland and Sky Moore from Kansas City, and then Mims and Bigsby, running back from Jacksonville.
Yeah. So what do you, Brenden, I know you're not a fantasy guy per se, but hearing those players, what are your thoughts on that team?
I'd say like grade wise, more like a B plus, because like you have solid players there, but you're more shooting for upside, so it could go up to an A, but
exactly, yeah.
You don't know how some people might play or if they get hurt or whatever, so it's kind of hard to tell at the moment.
Running backs are a bit iffy.
Right, if you get a New England running back, you're always going to worry. Eckler should get points if he's healthy. Herbert's shown a willingness to throw to running backs. My worry is Kellen Moore has not shown a willingness to include running backs in his passing game. We've known that here in Dallas. We've already seen a difference just in preseason. I think you nailed the biggest question mark. Tight end. Could I find a type of upside guy maybe on the waiver wire that breaks out and gives you more consistent numbers than Everett might, to where it's not just did Everett score a touchdown this week, and that's kind of where you get your numbers from.
Exactly. Yeah. If you don't get a Travis Kelce or a Mark Andrews or guys like that, the top 4 guys, then you're really relying on touchdown depending guys after that.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, gentlemen, let's talk some Cowboys football here. Roster cuts were made today. Mike, which players are you surprised that got cut? Give us one from offense and one from defense.
All right, so offense, there was a few. There was a couple on offense. I'm going to go Sean McKeon. I had him on mine. The way they run 2 tight ends, I assumed they would keep 4. Yeah. And McKeon's a good special teams player. Also, tight end is one of the very unique positions that gets claimed off waivers quite often. Yeah. And so I worried about getting him to the practice squad. And so I kind of thought Bones would fight for him, which I heard is a thing that happened, that was the guy that was a real battle, was McKeon, that he was one of the last guys. It was one of those fights. And I thought he would make the team. Even if they kept Lemke, I thought they'd find another way, keep a 4th back and a 4th tight end. But I was surprised by the McKeon cut.
Brenden, who's your offensive player that you're surprised that got cut?
That was center/guard Matt Farniok. I was super surprised on that one. I know he didn't have a crazy preseason. I know the entire offensive line, besides Asim Richards and maybe Tyler Bass, really didn't. So it hurts. But yeah, he played well last year in stretches whenever he had to come in to play center, which you now have no center. So I don't know what you're really doing there. Also, they always talk about they love flexibility. Matt Farniak is that offensive lineman that just shoots for flexibility. So I don't know why they really made that move. Hopefully they'll come back to the practice squad and maybe we just elevate him later on. But right now,
So what is Tyler Biadasz and then who if he gets hurt?
I think I throw Bass
Martin?
there. I think I would. No way. Zach Martin hated moving to tackle. You think he's going to play center?
No, he's not. But that's the guy. That's who they have right now until they get one of those guys, one of the three they cut back to the practice squad, and then you could elevate him 3 games. Maybe whatever center makes it back to the practice squad in order. Like if it's Farniak, he goes first. If it's Hoffman, he goes second. If it's Lindstrom, he goes third. But maybe the idea is a person that they are moving to IR after the 53, like a Nation Wright. Maybe he goes off and one of them comes up. But as of right now, it's going to be one of them on the practice squad elevating. They get 3 games to elevate up before they have to claim a roster spot. So, yeah, Farniak was the other one for me too, Brenden. That one was really surprising.
It's kind of strange when you think about the moves that Dallas has made this offseason for them to put themselves in what could be a potential bind. That's a strange move. They must have something up their sleeve, you would think.
I think they are pretty positive they can get Hoffman on the practice squad. And he wasn't great, but if Tyler Biadasz goes down, you need a guy that can snap the ball. So,
right.
Hoffman wasn't that good, man. I didn't see much. I did not see much at all that what I liked. Good praise coming from camp, but everything else,
yeah, he was bad, and he was bad the game that he played. Was it guard that he was really bad and center that he was okay? Or center he was there was one of the games where he was okay. But I can't remember if it was the game he was at guard or at center. I'll have to go back and look.
The Raider game, he got blown up at guard. Like you see everyone pushing there and you see him fly back.
It was not a good preseason games for him. I know he did fine in camp, but the preseason games, actual live action, he did not play well.
Maybe it's an upside thing. That's why they decided to keep him over Farniak. Who knows? Brenden, who's your defensive player that you're surprised that got cut?
There's a couple. Like I feel like how Mike was with the offense. There's a couple, but
yeah,
it's got to be Isaiah Land. It's got to be. They're talking about like you were talking about earlier. Talking about with Sam Williams maybe getting suspended or
right.
Isaiah Land was making plays every preseason game, so I don't know why they really wanted to cut him. Because he had I think he had one of the highest pressure rates on the team, and he was all around the only person getting to the quarterback other than Sam Williams. But you hope for that. But Isaiah Land should have been there.
Maybe that's another guy they think they can make it back to the practice squad. But defensive end, it's such a good position, and then he's shown flashes already. Probably unlikely.
He was first in pressure rate, I believe, and the Raiders, the third guy, he got cut too. So 2 of the top 3 preseason pressure rate guys were put on waivers today.
Again, speaks to the depth of this Cowboys team. Mike, who's your defensive player?
To be honest, I tried to figure out one, but I wasn't really surprised by any. I mean, I understood Land. They have so much depth at defensive end.
Yeah.
I was surprised by the trade they made. That surprised me. I talked to some people that said that it was because they wanted an outside corner and they just didn't trust Kelvin Joseph outside. But Noah Igbenogany hasn't played good outside either. And I guess both played special teams. I know, I didn't pay much attention to it, so maybe he was as good as Joseph, but Joseph was a pretty good gunner. And you took on more cap money because Noah Igbenogany was the first round pick. So that would be my surprise move that Kelvin Joseph didn't get cut, but he got traded for somebody that cost more money and was a bad corner as well as Joseph was and, wasn't as good a special teamer as far as I know. But maybe the difference is character-wise. Maybe they were just tired of having Joseph in the locker room.
Maybe they felt better about getting something rather than getting nothing. Maybe too.
Yeah, very true.
You didn't feel shocked about Jabril Cox?
No, that word had been pretty well known. Cox and Bohanna. I had heard about early Monday that was going to be a thing, and it just he doesn't fit Quinn. He's a coverage guy, but Quinn likes to play safeties there. He doesn't like to play linebacker. So you're talking about a guy who would put like Cox is a good cover guy for a linebacker, not for a safety. So Quinn likes to play Wilson, Curse. He'll play Bell there. He'll probably play Wanye Thomas some there if needed. And they're just better cover guys than Cox. So kind of what was the point? If you look at the guys he kept, Damone Clark could play middle linebacker. LVE is a middle linebacker. And Malik Jefferson is built more like a middle linebacker. Well, it's because his outside guys are safeties. That's what he plays there. So, I wasn't too surprised by that. I was bummed out by it, but not surprised.
Yeah. Brenden, which offensive player surprised didn't get cut today?
If you've seen my Twitter, I've been talking about this all day, and I've been completely excited. That's Hunter Lipke. I wanted that man on this roster since we got him back in April. Oh, dude, I've been wanting him. He's great to what Mike McCarthy loves. He always loves fullbacks. Like John Kuhn was the name. Somehow everyone knew he was a fullback. No one should know that name. Come on.
Yeah.
Dude, Lipke is 6'1", 234 pounds. Yeah, you're talking about you want a bruiser with Zeke leaving? Lipke. You want someone who's just gonna throw himself probably out linebacker? It's gonna be Lipke. I see no downside with him coming on, even though that means McEwen has to go to the practice squad.
Yeah, Mike, what about you? What's the player on offense you're surprised didn't get cut?
That was my guy too. The way I looked at it is he's a jack of all trades, master of none. And so no team was going to look at him and go, we got to put him on our 53 man. Because if a team picks him up, that means he's on your 53 man. Like he's set in. And so I was like, I want him on the team, but what's going to happen is he'll get cut. He'll make it to the practice squad. McKeon is the guy that I thought they'd keep up, to protect him. And then something would maneuver and he would move up. But when you look at it, you're like, okay, you need a fourth running back in a pinch. Hunter Lemke can do that. You want to play fullback like McCarthy likes to do? You could put Hunter Lemke there. He'll hit a couple of blocks. He's not Daryl Moose Johnston, but he could hit a block every once in a while. We've seen he could catch the ball in that last preseason game. He made a couple of catches that were on throws that were not on point, and he caught them. You need a fourth tight end in a pinch, a guy that could just go out there, block, or run a route and make a catch. He can do it. So I think the idea for them was we don't need to keep a Malik Davis, a Sean McKeon, and the homeboy from the Bucks, the veteran that I'm blanking on that gets suspended.
Ronald Jones.
Yeah, Ronald Jones. He basically takes a spot up of all three of those guys, and so you just put him on the 53 to protect him. But I was surprised it happened, but happily surprised. I'm very happy. He's one of those guys that wins a game during the year. Like, yeah, he plays fine. He does this and that, and you don't see him much. And then all of a sudden, one game he gets a fullback run for 1 yard and a touchdown. He picks up a first down. He catches a ball on a 3rd and 5 and gets a first down and cranks up the offense when they're struggling. They're struggling one game and the defense is holding you in it. And then all of a sudden, Hunter Lemke wins you a damn game. And you're sitting there going, how did that happen? How'd this guy that gets 8 snaps a game all of a sudden get in this game? And then half the fan base gets mad. Like, yeah, why haven't we been playing him for all these snaps? This one, the other half is like, come on, calm down. It was one game. He's going to have that effect this year. You can see it coming.
Yeah, I know he got injured, but I thought Josh Ball was surely going to get cut. Did you guys think he was a easy cut, or did you think he was worth holding on to?
Oh, easy cut. easy. I've never liked him, to be honest.
I think if he didn't agree to go on the full year IR, they would have cut him because they would have had to keep him on the 53 and then move him over the next day. But since he agreed to go with Overshone and Stevens on the full year cut, they were like, okay, well, if you're not going to cost us a 53-man roster spot, we'll just keep you.
Mike, which player on defense are you surprised didn't get cut?
I mean, everybody's can we on a count of three, Brenden, me and you say the same person. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Gallimore.
Yeah, I was thinking that. I actually had a different one, but no, Gallimore is also a shocker.
I thought everybody would say that. He just didn't. He played backups and didn't really show anything. I mean, the run game as a team was better, was at its best when Gallimore was the one technique. I'll give him that credit. But he also played against he should dominate those people. He was a 3rd-round pick who I had a 2nd-round grade on. Like, I would have needed him to show more. But when you go through, like, Bohanna's a 6th-round pick. He probably makes the practice squad. Gallimore was a 3rd-round pick. He probably gets picked up. So they were like, well, as a back end of the line guy, a 3rd string, DT, 3rd line guy, keep the guy that you think will, that you could protect. So I understand it, but I'm surprised. I'm surprised he made the team.
I will say when John Machota, he released the 53-man roster, and I saw Gallimore's name on there, I was shocked that he didn't get cut.
That was me with Patrick No-See Walker when he posted. I'm like, oh, he's still there.
Yeah.
Who's your guy
on defense?
Mine was Wanye Thomas.
Oh wow!
He showed flashes and all that first interception against Trevor Lawrence. Awesome. I love seeing that. But just like, since he's so young, you can tell he's raw at the position. And I've never seen Dallas go this heavy at DB ever. I don't think it's ever happened in the history of this team. So I was just like, oh, he's the last guy. We don't know what's going to happen. He's big. He flashes ball skills, but you don't know what he's going to really be. And so I didn't know if they trusted him enough to actually be on this roster. But apparently they did. And now we have a 6'3" safety. So
I truly believe that J-Ron Curse and one of either Bell or Wanye Thomas, they consider linebackers. And that's why they don't – they in their mind, they held 10 DBs, and then their linebackers included Curse and one of either Bell or Thomas, whoever they decide to put in there if Curse or goes down. That's when I think of how they're thinking it, that's my mindset, is how they're thinking is they said, okay, we got LVE, we got Clark, we got Harper, we got Curse, and then one of those two, that's your 5 linebackers. And then the other 10 DBs are quote unquote DBs.
Isn't Wanye a free safety though?
Yeah, he's a free. It's just he's 6'3". He plays big. I believe Bell will be the guy that they consider the linebacker, but there's also been talks of Thomas could go there in a pinch, and there's talks of Donovan could go there, and Bell and Wanye Thomas could rotate at the safety spot back with Hooker as well. So I'll be interested. I don't want that to happen. Let's just keep Curse healthy all season. But if Curse or Donovan go out, I'll be interested to see how they rotate that.
Yeah, another thing I'm interested to see, Mike, is who got cut but that will make it back to the practice squad. Is there a player that you think did get cut that won't be coming back to the Cowboys practice squad?
I think they'll get anybody they want, but the guy, I think Brenden nailed it with his surprise guy, Farniok, for me, because just like Brenden said, his versatility. Yeah. Teams need offensive linemen, and this is a guy who could snap the ball, play both guard spots, and in a pinch, in a dire situation, in a Joe Johnson and Brock Purdy are both hurt, he could go out and play tackle and allow you to survive. So, I'm going to play off of Brendan's surprise cut and say Farniok would be the worry.
Brenden, what about you? Is that your guy as well?
Yeah, I had that and Isaiah Land, but I also want to say, Mike, me and you, same page with that.
Simpatico.
But no, it's Isaiah Land. Like I said earlier, he was flashing off. He was flying around the field. I thought, even though some people give me a lot of flack, where I think he can play linebacker in a pinch if you really need is a bigger defender out there. He could have been that, and I just liked his production. So I don't know. I hope he makes it to the practice squad. I think that's what they're thinking is going to happen. But I don't know. I liked him a lot.
He also, even if you worry about his linebacker, if he could play a few snaps at edge, and you have Tank and Dorrance and Sam Williams, Micah Parsons in a pinch could move to linebacker, and Land could give you a few snaps replacing him at defensive end if you were worried about him at linebacker. So, yeah, I like that. That's going to be a tough one, man. I hope isn't he the guy that we're all right now, the one guy that we're all like, come on, make it back to the practice squad. He's like that guy for everybody.
Yeah, easily.
You know, with all the cuts made today around the NFL, Brenden, is there a guy from another team you'd like to see Dallas claim off the waivers?
I've been saying this for a while, and because I thought he was a free agent for a lot longer, but I just found out he just now got cut. It's Deion Jones. I've been wanting him for a couple of years now with Dallas, but mainly he's here. He knows the scheme. He's still athletic. Everyone's gonna say, "Bro, he's a has-been." He plays well whenever he needs to. I'm not needing a starting linebacker. We need someone to start. That's sad, but I think he'll come in there. And Dan Quinn got his best years out of Deion Jones, so I think he could play pretty darn well.
I mean, you see what Fowler's been able to do in limited time. Why can't Deion Jones do the same thing?
That's the perfect point right there.
No. Mike, what about you? Is there a player from another team you'd like to see Dallas claim off of waivers?
Yeah, there was a guy that I thought Dallas was going to sign this offseason. They were talking to him. It seemed like it ended up being a play to get LVE to come back, The Eagles ended up drafting him. He's from the Bears, and I watch every Bears game because my dad's a Bears fan. Yeah. Nicholas Morrow, hunter tackle guy. I thought he played his ass off in Chicago. And when Philly got him, I told our buddy, my friend of me, Tom Stakes, shout out Tom. I know you listen because he loves me and he loves Dallas. He tweets more about Dallas than we do. When he got him, I was like, he may not be as good as the guys you lost, but he's going to be a solid replacement for you guys. He's a starter level player, and they cut him. And I was like, oh, wow. They made that move. And the word I asked him about it right away. And word is that they probably want to bring him back to practice squad and maybe elevate him. Like there's still his plans to have him on the team. But if Dallas ended up picking him up, I wouldn't mind that at all. I think he could start in a pinch. He played special teams. I don't know if he fits what Quinn likes to do, but if they were really interested in him in the offseason, like the reports were that they were talking to him, that means Quinn would have been involved in that. So I wouldn't mind that. And he's worked through the system with Philly. He could tell us some stuff about the changes they made, what the new DC's up to. So nothing wrong with that.
True. It was a pretty active weekend. We saw the Cardinals make a few trades that Cowboys Nation liked a couple of players that got traded away by the Cardinals, especially when you factor in the cost. When you look at those three trades, it was Trey Lance, of course, we acquired him. Isaiah Simmons to the Giants for a 7th-round pick, and then I forget his first name, but Jones being traded for, I believe it was a 5th-round pick. You look at those three of those bigger trades, Brenden, which one of those three would you wish Dallas would have made?
I know Mike agrees with me on this. Yeah. And that's I swear his name is Josh Jones.
Josh
tackle.
Jones, yes.
Dude.
Correct.
Like he's not the funniest thing is I don't think he even played that great, but for depth, please. They give up basically nothing. And we could have just had him Asim Richard could have stayed at left tackle. I would have been fine with playing him at right in case Steele goes down. But hey, you know what? Knock on wood. Steele's not gonna go down. He's not. I'm gonna talk that into existence here, but Jones could have. Dude, it would have been so nice.
That's the guy.
I assume that's you as well.
Yeah, he started. I mean, you remember when we had like Cam Irvin, and it was like, hey, at least when something happens, Cam Irvin can go out there. Like he was that type. He totally
Yeah.
made sense. A vet, started plenty of games, would have no issues playing either tackle spot if something happened in a pinch. He's not elite, but he's starter level quality. And with Tyler Smith and the way Beata's just coming on, and you have Zach Martin and Steele, or if it was Tyron and Steele had issues, you'd feel pretty good there. And then the way Bass has played and Richards, you'd feel like, all right, I got an extra guy here, young. Bass can come in. He's looked good at guard. You wouldn't feel like life's over if you had one or two offensive line injuries for short term. You know, you'd feel like, oh, we can get through this. Yeah, so Jones, I'm with Brenden 100%. Jones easily would have been my pick.
Well, Mike, you've definitely, you've made the case and you've got me second guessing my guy, but when you factor in position of need and the cost and team fit, man, Isaiah Simmons was the guy I was really hoping for. Just to get that type of a player with the 7th round pick, and then you can bring him and add him to our defense and with Dan Quinn, it's like that just felt like a no-brainer type of move.
That's a Cowboys special. An old first round pick. They bring him in for something low, and try to get some value out of him. So I mean, honestly, Dallas could have combined and gave him a 4th and got Simmons and Lance, and then gave him a 5th and got Jones.
Oh my God,
that would have been incredible.
Can you imagine if Dallas had traded for all 3 of those players over the weekend, dude?
I would have been extremely happy.
That would have been amazing, especially for the cost, man.
Yeah, I know.
So, the move that we did make this weekend, Brenden, of course, we acquired Trey Lance for a 4th round pick. You look at that move, was that a need move or a luxury move in your opinion?
Oh, that's a complete luxury move. Like, come on. If you was asking to start next week, it'd be like, oh, well, we're screwed. We're going to lose. Have fun. But, like, I don't think anything of it. Jerry Jones basically told the entire world, hey, we want a project. We want a quarterback behind Cooper Rush, behind Dak Prescott to learn and mold. He said he wants to do it every year, but they didn't get to because everybody went high. I don't know why half those guys got taken before like the 5th, 6th round, but I don't draft. I'm not paid enough for that, so I don't know. But with that, and he's not going to start anytime soon. He doesn't know the roster.
Right.
Like, he doesn't know the roster. He doesn't know the plays. Like, he doesn't know anything right now. So just let him sit. We don't need to do anything with him. He just needs to learn. And if he turns into something 4 years from now, hey. But right now, no. It's just a luxury.
I'm curious, Brenden. What are your thoughts on Trey Lance as the player? Did you do any evaluating him, pre-draft, or what are your thoughts on him since he's been in the league?
So many people have said this, but he hasn't got enough playing time because he only played his sophomore year. Then he played 1 game his junior year during COVID, and then that's it. So he has so much athletic ability to run the ball. He's a cannon of an arm, at least what he did at North Dakota State. Like, he has all these intangibles. Just, you can have gifts, but you don't know how to use it if you don't play enough. And also injuries hurt him. So yeah. I do like this trade a lot. Only for a 4th. I'll take a 3rd overall pick with a 4th round pick. I'll take it.
Absolutely. Mike, I know because we were doing this show during his draft class, I don't believe you were that big of a fan of Trey Lance just simply because of the unknown. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I had a 3rd round grade on him. Great athleticism. There was stuff that was nice because, like, at North Dakota State, you had to do full field reads. You had to call your own protections. He went 28 touchdowns, no interceptions in the 1 year that he played full. But I looked at where he played, North Dakota State, so he never got like the big college Alabama type stuff, Chewbacca, and he also was very inexperienced. So that took 2 rounds off of him. And so I had a 3rd round grade on him. But even if you factor that in right now, a 3rd round grade, 2 years are off his contract. You're not going to pick up his 5th year. So about a 4th, 5th round pick felt right. So the value is still decent. I think if we got him for a fifth, I feel like I would have been like, damn, that was unbelievable. But this one's like, okay, they about nailed it. Fourth round feels about right. Both guys should be happy there, both sides.
I know you mentioned we're not going to pick up his fifth year, but in a perfect world, you don't make this trade without thinking, yeah, we're going to have this guy here for a couple of years. You know, to be Dak's direct quarterback.
I think Jerry's going to go, hey, we're giving you a chance to resurrect. You're in our system. Dallas, you got the right coaching. You got the right leader ahead of you. Why don't you sign a couple-year deal? We'll give you some backup money and just stay here and develop instead of having to worry about pressure somewhere else. And I think that's going to be his plan, is to kind of pair him with Dak and maybe have Dak on a 4-year extension with a few void years, and then get Lance on a 3-year extension plus the year he has left, and have them both around a 4-year thing. And then you can make decisions then, depending on, how much you want to pay each one and how they look. And it gives you a few years to build them up and maybe get some trade assets for them, which I think is the main move. The main move they're thinking is, our quarterback's going to be good enough. We're going to be a Super Bowl contender. We'll be good. This guy could get us a 4th round pick that turns into a 2nd or a 1st. And then if Dak doesn't work out and it's just too much money and we're paying Micah and Diggs and we have this awesome defense, maybe we can supplement with a cheaper quarterback on the up and up in 3 or 4 years. And have him come in for a 34, 35-year-old Dak.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's really a no risk, all reward type of move. And, again, you mentioned the 4th round pick to get a guy with all the potential that Lance has for that price. And, even you think about McCarthy's history with quarterbacks, man, it's a beautiful move.
Yeah, it made me laugh. Somebody today, I can't remember which one I was watching, 105.3, I think, he was like, Mike McCarthy's a quarterback guru. And the guy's like, oh, well, who'd he take? And they go, well, the easy one's Aaron Rodgers. He built up under Brett Favre. And they're like, yeah, that was a 1st round pick. Who else? I'm like, Aaron Brooks, Matt Flynn. Like, you can go down the line. He was a part of Joe Montana's team in Kansas City. He was a part of Steve Young's, I believe, before that when he was real young. He was Brett Favre when he came up. And then it was eventually Brett Favre. Like, he's been a part of a lot of great coaches. And eventually you can't just go, oh, well, they were all great quarterbacks. Well, yeah, but he was there for a lot of that. Guys.
Yeah. Matt Flynn is not a great quarterback.
Huh? Matt Flynn, he made Matt Flynn a lot of money. He made Aaron Brooks a lot of money. Yes. Exactly. They didn't end up being great, but under him, they did enough to where by the time he left, people were like Aaron Brooks got paid and then fell off. And then Matt Flynn got paid and left, and then he fell off. But under Mike McCarthy, they were playing well enough. Like, I think Aaron Brooks with the Saints had a 500 record in 3 seasons under Mike McCarthy as the offensive coordinator.
Yeah.
He wasn't anything great as a quarterback, but he knew how to work with quarterbacks, so we'll see what he can do with Lance.
I will never forget the game where Matt Flynn started for the Green Bay Packers against Tony Romo and the Cowboys, and we were up by like 20 plus points, and they mounted a comeback to beat us in the 4th quarter.
Man, I must have blocked that one out.
So bad. I wish I could have. So, Mike, you kind of touched on it. It sounds like you think this was more of a strategic move, or actually maybe even a move for the future. Which one of those two? What do you think?
I believe that I do think, if you guys read my article on Trey Lance, I do believe there is some strategy to this trade.
Yeah.
We play 12. Well, now with Kyler Murray gone, we play for sure 10 mobile quarterbacks this year, which Trey Lance could scout team for. We also will play the 49ers this year and possibly play them again in the playoffs. And he has info on the defense and Kyle Shanahan's offense. Mm-hmm. And so I do see some win this year strategy within this trade, even though it's clearly, as Brenden said, a luxury pick and clearly something about value in the future. I think there's some sneaky, value to help this team this year as well.
Brenden, what about you? Is this a strategic move or a move for the future in your eyes?
Man, me and Mike have been talking too much on Twitter. Like, we're just on the same exact page. But Oh, it's completely for the future. Mike brought up some great points, but honestly, I don't even know how well he knew the San Francisco 49ers system. To be completely honest, either you're too hurt or there's like, nah, we're not gonna play you. So I don't know. Oh, but for the future, you have this. He's like what 23? He's 3 years older than me, and he's been in the league for like what 2 years now, 2-3
This
years.
is year 3, I believe.
Yeah, come on, this has got nothing but upside.
Yes, sir. Brenden, outside of mobility, what does Lance offer the Cowboys that Dak doesn't?
Okay, so I'm gonna say this, and everyone's gonna take this the wrong way, but it's arm strength. He has a stronger arm than Dak, but I'm not saying Dak doesn't have a strong arm. That 3rd and 30 play, that's
You gotta have a strong arm to make that one.
That's a pretty strong arm right there, and he has some tight windows. But Trey Lance can just heave that thing, and that thing goes. That's why he looked like Josh Allen a little bit in college.
Yeah, it looks a little more effortless when he does it.
Yeah,
Mike, what about you? Would you say it's arm strength, or do you have something else?
What does Brenden offer over me, Paul? Right now, easily you could tell it. What does Brenden offer over myself?
I think he probably he likes to be on time more so than you do.
I would have gone with youth. I would have gone with youth myself. And that's it's funny too, because like I always say the line, I'd rather be an hour early than a minute late.
Yeah.
And like I'm never late to work. Like it bothers me to be late to work. It's something my dad's beaten into my head. But yeah, sometimes just getting right towards the end when I have to like, all right, I got to get a shirt. I got to use the restroom. Let me make sure I have water. Get a drink of water. Okay, I got to turn the laptop on. I got to get it. And then it's like 6:05 and I'm like, oh, God. Sorry about that, guys.
No worries, sir. Yeah, Micah, I don't know if you took a peek at the show sheet, but really that was my answer as well. We're on the same page for as well. Youth is the easy answer, I feel like, but I was, looking at the show sheet here. Excuse me, guys. Yeah, the simple, easy answer is youth. But Brian Broadish brought up a good point. When you look at the schedule for the season, Dallas faces a lot of mobile quarterbacks, and Lance running the scout team will help our defense be prepared for those quarterbacks. So look at something for this year. I think Brenden, you mentioned that. So yeah, there's.
I would just like to point out that before Brian Broadish tweeted that, there was this really good article about Trey Lance that mentioned that we're facing 11 mobile quarterbacks. I can't remember who brought it out. It's on Cowboys Wire. You guys can find it on there. It's about Trey Lance and came out a couple days ago. And maybe Brian Broadish read that and got a great idea from whoever happened to have written that article.
Brenden, did you start writing for Cowboys Wire?
subtle plug.
No, I did retweet that, Mike. I haven't taken the time to read it yet. That was my intentions, but I've been busy, sir. But yeah, I'm excited to read that one because I know it's going to be filled with a lot of good information.
I was pretty proud of that article. It didn't have the shares I hoped it would. I think kind of people were on to the 53-man by that time.
Yeah,
and they were like, okay, yeah. Lance is a couple years away. That's more of a TV thing than a written article thing. And so it didn't get the shares I hope, but I'll tell you what, I'm damn proud of that article. I thought that was a really good article, so I was really happy with it.
Well, Mike, it's like some of our best episodes never made it to air, man. So I know that feeling, bro.
I don't want to talk about that one. That one was so good. That was first year, right?
That was like our 5th ever episode that we recorded, dude.
Wait, what are you talking about?
Incredible.
What are y'all talking about?
You had one that got lost in Anchor. It just never uploaded and disappeared, and we had to redo the whole episode, and it was so good. We were ranking Dak, right?
We were like ranking Dak among the current quarterbacks in the NFL, and then we started talking about Carson Wentz, like comparing Dak and Carson Wentz, and then we made a case for having Carson Wentz on the Cowboys and stuff, and it was for only being like our 4th or 5th episode, the chemistry, the information, the flow of it all, it was just insane. It really was.
Brenden, it still hurts a little right here. It still hurts.
Wait, so did the live just get corrupted or something? I thought y'all go.
No, this was before we ever started streaming or anything. This was when we recorded from Anchor, pre-recorded everything.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
R.I.P.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We've made a lot of moves this offseason, Mike, but this Lance move is interesting. Would you consider this an all-in type of move?
Nah, Gilmore and Cooks are all-in moves. This isn't even about – forget what I said about scout team and stuff. That's minor details that maybe put you over the top, but it's not a Gilmore, Cooks. Those are true all-in moves. You know, if they would have traded for Jones or Isaiah Simmons, an all-in move. So we'll see if they make one. They still could. You know, I don't really want them using any more of next year's picks, but you know, if the right player came along, let's go. I'm trying to win this year. F them picks.
I don't mind using day 3 picks, but yeah, man, with our I don't know, man, it's kind of crazy that the players that we've cut from the Micah draft class. I don't know, maybe our hit record's kind of, you know, it's taking a bit of a hit.
Yeah, I crapped on that, and then somebody told me, I don't know, man, like you got all-prime, all-world Hall of Fame player in Micah. You got a good player who may be having a breakout in Osa, and then Izzy is a DB that played in a playoff game and seems to be one of those backups that you could put in safety or corner. Because you get 3 players like that in a draft, you know, it's not bad. Good. And I was like, that's not a bad draft, really.
Yeah, it's just the misses, man, really hurt.
A lot of miss, and they missed a lot. We also got Golston, who we don't know what he is yet, you know, so we'll see there.
Brenden, what about you? Did you feel this was an all-in type of move, or are you kind of with Mike on this one?
I'm completely with Mike. I've never heard a Super Bowl winning team talk about their practice squad quarterback is the reason why they won the season.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, I agree with you guys wholeheartedly. If you know, if we were trading for a guy who we expect to contribute week 1 again, like a Josh Jones or Isaiah Simmons, in addition to the Brandon Cooks and Stephon Gilmore, I feel like that would have been an all-in move. But no, this is not an all-in type of move, but still a good move nonetheless.
I agree.
All right, Mike, here we are with your views from the sidelines. And I'm curious, Mike, with your insider knowledge here, do you happen to know if maybe the Cowboys, prior to trading for Lance, were they rumored to be talking trades with anybody else for any other players?
The word is that the guys that were out there were Joseph, Cox, and Bohanna. Bohanna early on, they realized nothing. They actually believe after that they could get him back to the practice squad. I think that's one of the reasons they were like, well, we'll just cut him now. And Joseph got traded, you know, for right. So yeah, that was their 3 guys that they were floating out there. Hey, anybody want to get these guys before they get cut and go to everybody? And Joseph was the one guy. And Miami was kind of doing the same thing. So we just kind of flipped our, hey, let's hope a change of scenery, you know, helps these guys out. And then Miami got a little cap relief. So they maybe that's a Jonathan Taylor thing. Who knows?
Do you know if they were linked to any other players? Not necessarily their own, but guys that they were kind of interested in maybe making a call on?
No, not that I know of. No, I think they had a hard enough 53-man cut as it is.
Right.
I'm surprised they got a trade through, to be honest.
Yeah, it makes sense. Okay, here we are. True or false, our newest segment. Brenden, true or false, Cooper Rush is the best backup option for the Cowboys in 2023?
Oh, that's an easy truth. That's easily true. Yeah. Are you joking? Come on.
Mike, I assume you agree?
Yes, I agree. I mean, Colt McCoy is out there now.
No.
I just feel like there are some people out there, they hear Trey Lance, they see the mobility, they're like, screw Cooper Rush. You know, let's start Trey Lance. But, you know, anybody who actually watches football knows that Cooper Rush is the best option, at least for this year.
Not just Lance. People were saying that about Will Greer. He's mobile. He throws more. I'm like, look, Cooper Rush knows the system. He's won 5 games with us. He's won 2 really big games. The Minnesota one Sunday and the Cincinnati Bengals one. You know, and he's not great, but if you win with them, and people don't understand confidence. Like, the team's going to go into any game that they have Cooper Rush and think, okay, we got to play up, but we know we got a chance to win. So there's no reason to mess with that.
I can't believe people would prefer Will Greer over Cooper Rush. That's strange.
Yeah, I've heard it often. You know how many of the friggin' podcasts I listen to heard it a lot.
Wow. All right, Brenden, one word this week use one word to fill the blank in. Stephen Jones has shown blank this offseason.
Urgency. Urgency.
Good word.
I like that one.
Well, you
That's
gotta
a great
think
one,
about.
man.
Well, you gotta think about it. They usually go with, we like our guys. We like our guys. Like, Dennis Houston started for you last year, and he's barely making the practice squad. They don't even know if he's gonna make the practice squad this year. He caught a couple balls in that game. Oh well, now they trade for honestly, if he keeps it up, a future Hall of Fame wide receiver in Brandon Cooks. Always gets 1,000 yards every year, except for last year, which was trash with Texans. That going your corner, you had to pull people off the streets. You trade for Stephon Gilmore. Guess what? Defensive Player of the Year corner. You going with that? Man, our safeties are playing good, but we might lose them. Hey, let's go and re-sign them. Besides Curse, Curse should get a new contract, but he needs to wait in line. You're going with all that, man. Pollard's really popping off, but you know what? We had Zeke here. They let Zeke go. Previous regime, and besides Dez, they wouldn't have let that happen. They're like, no, we like him too much. They're gonna let his contract ride out. Zeke just destroy Pollard's. Honestly, pay time in the NFL and everything. So
yeah,
they did everything to make their team better.
That's a great word.
Mike, what about you?
It's not as good. I'm not going to lie. Urgent was a better word. I would say improvement.
That's a good one, man.
I don't even need to go through the reasons. Brenden went through them. Zeke, Cooks, Gilmore, re-sign Dono. Re-sign Hooker. He's nailed it. So instead of a better word, urgency, I went with improvement. Not as good, but for the same reasons it fits.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for all the same reasons that Brenden used, but the word I went with aptitude.
Good word. Smart guy. That's the word I'm supposed to use, Mr. Red Baron.
You know you love Red Baron, Mike. Don't lie.
No. Make the list. Make the list.
And for people that are telling me to eat it's not going to happen. I'm not eating. First of all, I lost 30 pounds. Stop trying to make me eat all that pizza. And then bad pizza. If I'm going to eat all that pizza and gain weight, I want Papa Murphy's and Mountain Mike's and the ones on my top 5 list. Not Red Baron and whatever
Red
other.
Baron is fire. That is so good.
For a frozen pizza, it's so crazy good, dude. I can't even explain it.
What was that first part you said, Paul? For frozen pizza.
For a frozen pizza. Yeah,
I don't want it.
And for the price, the quality you get, it's shocking how good it is.
Dude, that thin crust pepperoni. Ooh.
I don't want it.
My wife hates pepperoni, so we always get 4 cheese. But man, holy cow! For just a cheese pizza, I'm like, how is this so good? Doesn't make sense.
I can't wait to hear the 5 jarred sauces Paul puts on it. I like Prego. Prego's my number one.
Bro, I haven't had Prego in at least 10 years. Don't play with me.
Yeah, no Prego. God.
Okay, here we are. Mikey spoiled it. Top 5 tonight is going to be our top 5 favorite sauces. This is going to be our first time having a third guest, if you will, on top 5. So this will be kind of cool. So in honor of you, Brenden, joining the show, we'll go with you. Start with you, number 5. What is your top 5 favorite sauce? But let me offer some context real quick. I do apologize. We said condiments didn't count, so no salad dressings, no mayo, no mustard, no ranch. We said we would include salsa and queso as sauces. And then we also, at the 11th hour, said that gravy would be fine to add on the list if anybody added that. So, Brenden, start us off. Number 5, what is your favorite sauce?
Honestly, since I'm from Texas, I'm a Southern boy, it's barbecue sauce, dude. Any barbecue sauce from a small town barbecue place. Oh, bro, that's the stuff right there.
So do you have a favorite brand or a favorite place to get the sauce? Or
it's a place called Soul Man's. Dude, their barbecue sauce, I basically just drown my pulled pork sandwiches in it, and it's just so good. It's the best I've ever had. So
is it smoky, sweet, spicy? What kind?
It's a little bit of smoky and sweet, but it's just so good, dude. It's so
I have a feeling Mike despises barbecue sauce.
Oh no, I don't really. That's not true. I'll use some of the Sweet Baby Ray's. So see, I don't even have to make the barbecue sauce homemade, jarred barbecue or bottled. Bottled barbecue sauce.
Bottled, yeah.
My uncle lives in Kansas City. He's a barbecue a judge for barbecue
Pitmaster?
competitions.
Oh, okay.
And
Oh,
he'll
wow.
send me barbecue. If he really, really likes it, he'll buy some and send it out to me because he knows that I like to cook. And so
Right.
I use those jarred sauces all the time.
Dude, Sweet Baby Ray's is so clutch every time.
Yeah, it is. I have no issue with that.
All right, Mike, what's number? You're not so snotty tonight, I guess.
We'll see. Wait till you hear my first.
Oh no,
all right, Mike, what's number 5 on your list?
Brown butter and sage. Is that too?
Okay.
Is that too snooty for everybody?
But is that for? I assume for pasta, not for fish.
I would use it for gnocchi myself.
Yeah.
That's what I like it on when I have it. Nutty, and then the sage adds something floral to it. It's brown butter. Like brown butter is so good. You guys really want to up your cookie game? Make your chocolate chip cookies with brown butter.
Okay.
Brown butter, and then brown sugar instead of white sugar, and you will thank me later.
All right. Number 5 on my list. I'm going with the bottled hot sauce. And the brand is Louisiana hot sauce. Maybe it's some recency bias. Cholula used to be my favorite because it was so good on eggs, but man, Louisiana is very versatile.
It is.
And I typically don't like vinegar based.
I have in my fridge. I have Louisiana. I have Cholula. How do you say it?
Cholula.
Yeah, I have that one. I have Tabasco. I have a couple of Hell's Kitchen ones. I have Sambal, and of course the ultimate sriracha.
Man, I cannot Tabasco. I can't get past the smell.
I don't think I've ever smelled Tabasco.
Interesting.
I like it on
eggs. Taste at all, but yeah.
I typically put it over eggs. If I want eggs, that's my eggs hot sauce.
I got you. All right, number 4 on my list. I'm going with Sunday gravy, aka pasta sauce. Now, this is something I've only had a couple of times. My little sister, for whatever reason, she got really into cooking, and she watched a video where this cook made Sunday gravy, and so she would make it every Sunday. Best pasta sauce I've ever had in my life.
It's the best.
It's so incredibly good, dude.
Did she put vegetables in it, mushrooms in it, anything like that?
No, I think it was strictly like meats and onions. A variety of meats, but she simmered it for hours, dude, almost all day. It was an all-day process for her. It was crazy to see her do it.
It's beautiful. Tell her do it the day before, let it sit overnight, and then the next day just heat it up, and it will be.
My little sister's crazy in the kitchen. I don't know how much she cooks a lot these days, but she, for whatever reason, took an interest in it, and like everything she made was just amazing for her first time, like every time.
That's great. That is friggin' awesome to hear.
Yes, sir. All right, Mike, what's number 4 on your list?
On mine, this was a tough one because I was trying to choose a Asian sauce.
Yes.
And orange. I love orange sauce on like orange chicken or orange beef. But I went with plum sauce. Typically, you have it with mushu pork. They look like crepes, and you put the pork and the vegetables in it, and then you put a little bit of that plum sauce on top. It's more
Chinese
sweet.
Taco.
Yes, it's so good, and it's one of the only sauces that I have that's sweet. I don't really. Barbecue sauce I like pretty sweet. Like I like some smoky and heat, like mix. But this is the one sauce that I was like, you know what? I got to get one sweet sauce in there. And it's savory, but it is plum sauce is typically really sweet. But it's so good. If you haven't tried that, Brenden, mushu pork, my friend, go to a place, mushu pork, and it'll come with plum sauce. You put the plum sauce in the little crepe. You fill it with whatever pork and vegetables you want. Fold it up, and then just cut into it and eat it.
Are you a big fan of Asian food, Brenden?
Here and there, but I'm not that, like, I guess, cultured into it.
Gotcha.
But I've never heard of mushu pork ever in my life, to be honest.
Do you like Asian women, Brenden?
What the hell?
Then get used to it. Get your taste buds ready just in case.
Oh God,
Mike's giving life lessons over here.
Yes, sir. He's going to get us canceled in the process, Brenden. Okay, what's number 3 on your list, Brenden?
Anytime I go to any Italian restaurant, I usually get spaghetti. Dude, most of their meat sauces is great. You get chunks of meatball with their marinara sauce. Ooh, I do it every time. Every time that I can.
Sauce.
Hey, that's a good one. I feel like spaghetti is overrated. At the same time, my wife really loves it, so I've been trying to be a little bit better about it, incorporating it into our weekly or monthly meals. And I've made a couple of good ones. I still need to work on my sauce, but I can see the appeal. I'm just not as crazy about spaghetti as most people. I love pasta dishes, but I've always felt spaghetti was a little overrated.
What places have you gone to, man? What places have you gone to?
I mean, I worked at a Italian place that was a lot closer to traditional Italian food than Americanized, and I've had really good pasta dishes there. Mike and I, we talked about a dish. One of my favorite pasta dishes is pappardelle ragu. It's like a more traditional spaghetti with thicker noodles and a slow simmered ragu type of sauce with braised beef. Very good.
You gotta go to these small town restaurants, dude. That's where it's at for all of this stuff.
Hole in the wall places are always my favorite places.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, Mike, Brenden, what's number 3 on your list?
Number 3, I kind of put this one on my list just to kind of mess with Mike. I'm not gonna lie here. I said straight marinara sauce mainly so I could talk about how awesome Red Baron's marinara sauce in their pizza is. Dude, it's so good.
It doesn't make sense.
Hey, Mike, look at me here, bro. It's so good. Trust me. I used to eat that stuff almost daily. My mom's like, bro, we gotta end this. It's too unhealthy, but it was so good.
You guys are lucky you let me watch Ahsoka before we started, all right? With your Red Baron. And you put it 3rd.
I had to just because of this.
Red Baron's pizza sauce is Brendan's. Oh, God.
One Red Baron pizza is probably the equivalent of like a medium pizza, like a Pizza Hut or a Papa John's or Domino's, somewhere like that. It has over 1,800 calories, dude.
Yeah.
You have to understand that I do not eat pizza. I do not eat Domino's. I do not eat the cardboard pizzas. I am bougie. You know this. I'm a bougie food person because I cook. I will have Little Caesars though. I'll admit that, which a lot of people hate.
Comparing the size.
You'll have Little Caesars? That's
the one cheap place that I don't like.
They actually make their dough every day.
But I'll have it. I'll eat it. Like if somebody brings home Pizza Hut or Domino's, I don't even think I'd eat it. If somebody brought home Little Caesars, I'll probably heat it in a cast iron pan to like finish the bottom. They don't cook it enough for me. Yeah. But I won't not eat.
See, I put marinara in general because like pizza sauce is usually marinara, and then the normal spaghetti sauce is marinara. I just wanted to bring up Red Baron again just because I thought it was funny.
Asshole.
All right, Mike, what's number 3 on your list?
Number 3 on my list is arrabbiata sauce. I can't say it cool with the rolling R because I'm too white, but basically all it is really spicy marinara. That is basically what that is. Typically, you use it in stuff like Fra Diablo, which is a seafood pasta dish. Mm-hmm. I personally make my pizza with that type of sauce. I like Calabrian chilies in my pizza. I like my pizza to have a little bit of kick, a little bit of spice. So for me, arrabbiata, but in like lasagna or on a pizza, that's where I like it the best.
All right, number 3 on my list, Mike, I'm sure you're familiar with this sauce. It's the green salsa that you find on the taco trucks.
Oh, yeah. The red or green?
Green.
Oh, green. Yes. Okay. I was going to say, I'm verde. I can't say that either. I'm white, but I'm verde, not rojo.
Yeah. Yes, sir. The rojo is usually really spicy and doesn't taste nearly as good, where the green is great spicy and tastes really, really good.
I like my chips with the rojo, but in my food, I don't want to be blown away by the spice. Like I want to taste, especially Mexican food, I want to taste the braised beef or the braised pork or the stuff they
Yeah.
put in there are more than just hot sauce.
Exactly. It's so good on eggs.
Oh yeah, dude, come on, huevos rancheros all day.
Man.
Chili verde and eggs. I can't say I'm white.
Yes, sir.
I know it's with the R. Verde. I can't do all that. Sorry. White guy voice.
All right. Number 2 on my list. I'm going with this is probably my favorite enchilada, but sour cream sauce, sour cream chicken enchiladas.
I've had that a couple times. That's good stuff. They
Yeah.
my best friend's wife has made that a few times. I will admit that it's my least favorite of the 3 enchilada sauces,
Yeah.
but I do enjoy it very much. It's not like I'm like, sour. No, it's really good. I just like the spice from the other sauces more.
Yeah. Well, Mike, what's number 3 on your list?
2, right?
Sorry. Well,
2.
yeah, number 2. My bad.
Casio de Pepe. Do you want to know what the difference is between Casio de Pepe and Alfredo? I can charge you $7.99 when I call it Casio de Pepe. Add more money to it. All it is an Alfredo sauce with a little bit better cheeses and a shit ton of pepper. Basically, only difference between that and Alfredo. But because I'm bougie, I wanted to say the bougie sauce. So Casio de Pepe.
No, go ahead. Sorry, Mike.
No, please.
I was going to say, I thought Casio de Pepe didn't have cream.
No, but Alfredo doesn't really either. Like, you could make it with cream, but it's not needed. It's just, you could just do bechamel with the right cheeses is Alfredo. But Casio de Pepe has instead of regular Parm, you do like the more expensive stuff like the Pecorino Romano or the Parmigiano Reggiano. Instead of like the wedge that just says Parmesan at the store, you do the one that costs like $8 more a wedge. And then it has a ton of black pepper.
Gotcha. All right, Brenden, what's number 2 on your list?
Well, see, Mike's going all these like fancy ones and all that. I'm going straight Southern again. It's honestly, I didn't know what it was called before this. Whenever you gave us the script and all that, I'm like, oh, I gotta search this up. It's Cajun garlic butter sauce that they do for all crawfish.
Yeah,
dude.
Oh,
it murders you a little bit, all depending on what heat you choose. Oh man, I could eat that all day.
What heat level do you choose?
It depends. If I'm like not having like the best day, I'm like watching the Rangers or something, then I'm just gonna go mild. I'm like, I want to be in a little bit of pain, but every other time my friend's like, "You want to die?" I'm like, "Sure." And we choose. I completely forgot it's the hottest one they got, and we're just in pain. We're laughing. We can see tears going down our faces as we're just eating it. It tastes so good though, but it burns.
My favorite thing about that is the pieces of corn you get. You just let them sit and soak in it. Magnificent.
No, have you ever dipped it though? Like, so all the sauce at the bottom, so you just completely roll your crawfish. It's like taking a shot of something. It just hits you like that, and you're just like, oh, okay, and you start coughing a little bit.
Yeah, it's pain. The higher levels, it's pain.
I've actually never been given the option, like when I've ordered crawfish, to how spicy I can get. I didn't know you could do that.
Did you go to a crawfish boil?
No, I did not. We went to a restaurant.
Okay.
But
no, I wasn't at a boil either.
No.
Okay.
Wait, Paul, how far do you live from Dallas? Because like there's a place called Nate's. That's where we go to, and it's awesome.
30, 45 minutes.
Actually, same here. So, dude, you gotta try Nate's. It's not, crawfish isn't in season anymore, but it's so good. Trust me.
Yeah, I'll have to check that out. All right, Brenden, what's number 1 on your list?
It's hot sauce, but it's hot sauce from a place called Uncle Julio's.
The salsa there, so good, man.
My parents don't like it. My dad likes it. Like my dad's like, if it's not hot, it's not hot sauce at all. So he just thinks it's weak, but it's so sweet, and it goes with those salty chips they have there. Dude, it's so good. I'm not there for pain.
I'm sad I don't know this, because when both of you are like, no, this shit is amazing. I'm like, I want to try it.
Bro, come to Texas.
I have a feeling, Mike, I'm not sure how you'd feel about Uncle Julio's. I think you'd like the drinks, but I because of the Mexican food you can get in Cali, I think you'd be like, this is a cool experience to come have a drink and, to eat with friends, but the food's just okay.
The problem with me coming to Texas, Brenden, is California has different laws on certain things I like to use that I would take with me to Texas and then not be able to come back because I'd get in trouble. So I'm scared to go there because I have my medicine that I need.
No, I get where you're coming from.
I will say I think Uncle Julio's has the best queso ever.
My family would disagree. There's some small places that my parents like to go to that my brother's in love with, but I don't remember the name right now.
I got you. All right, Mike, what's number 1 on your list?
Number 1 on my list is carbonara. I love that. If you don't know what that is, that's the egg yolk sauce. You typically have bacon or guanciale or pancetta, some sort of smoked bacon type of meat in there, and then when the pasta's done, you just kind of put egg yolks in and mix it up, and the egg yolk gets on the. It's my favorite pasta by far, by a million. I love carbonara, and it's great. Cheese, bacon, and egg yolks. Watch it, Jordan. They're watching you, man. Don't out yourself right there. I heard about Jordan, Texas, man. They'll come after you.
Elon didn't see anything.
All right, number 1 on my list. Mike, you're probably going to hate it, but I'm going with Alfredo, and it has to be Olive Garden Alfredo. That's my favorite Alfredo sauce. I know, man. I eat Alfredo at a lot of different places, but something about the flavor of Olive Garden's Alfredo is something else, man.
Have I told you? Look, forget the fact of your top sauce from Olive Garden. Have I told you this story about my friend and their thing about Olive Garden? Does that story ring a bell, Paul?
No, you haven't told me that one.
Well, I'll end the episode because I know we're getting to the end. So we're going to go to this show with my brother, our coworker, and a young lady, a cousin of somebody that I was kind of hanging out with, right?
Yeah.
And I told them, listen, we're all going to this show. Let's pick a nice place to eat, and we'll go there and have stuff. And the first thing this girl says is Olive Garden, and I'm like, I said nice place to eat, and the first thing you say is Olive Garden. So I'm like, I'm laughing my butt off, and I'm like, no, we'll go to like Mad Duck or some bougie place, we went to. And so I'd say a month later, I'm hanging out with her again and her sister, and we're eating Lazy Dog. And the sister's a little younger, like 15 years old. She's young, and we're having dinner, and she goes, we should do this, like pick a fancy place, a nice place, and do this every week. And she goes, we should start with Olive Garden. Like, what the hell was Olive Garden like on TV at your house? And you're like, please, Papa, can we please go to Olive Garden? They're like, we don't have that Olive Garden money, honey. Both of them, her and her sister, were both like, we gotta go to that fancy Olive Garden that we see on TV all the time. And I was like, no, we're not. I literally took them, her sister, for her birthday. I took all of them to Olive Garden. And when it was over, I went, do you understand why I was laughing at y'all now? And they were like, yeah, this isn't as good as the other places we went. I was like, yeah, it's okay, but made me laugh.
There's nothing fancy about it. I mean, when you're a kid, you think it's super fancy because it's dim lit and everything, and it's kind of, I don't know, you kind of get that fancy vibe, but as you get older, you're like, this is so commercial, so chain.
For both of them to say Olive Garden is their fault, I'm like, your house had a lot of Olive Garden commercials, man.
It's it really is. It's overpriced for no reason.
Yeah, it's cool. I've gone there. I like their breadsticks. I've had a few things there that it's like, oh, this was good, but it's like it's cool.
You would never celebrate anything there. Like take a date there. You would maybe take your wife there, but you wouldn't take you go on a first date there or anything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, unless you're dating one of the two sisters that are my friends. Then they would have loved you. They'd have been like, oh my God, this guy's a keeper. He took me to Olive Garden.
And no disrespect to you, Brenden, but I feel like maybe, if you're around your age, if you were to take a girl out there and you took her there, she might be like, well, this is kind of a nice first time to go, or a nice first date.
I wouldn't think anyone would think that either.
Yeah, you never know.
You can't even smoke it all in Texas. Who the hell's going to Olive Garden in Texas? You got to be high as hell in California. You go to Olive Garden.
Do y'all have an Olive Garden in California?
Oh, we have tons of course, we're potheads in California. You don't think we have Olive Garden? Potheads.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah, that's what goes.
Yes, sir. Well, I think we've ended on a strong note, gentlemen. Brenden, we appreciate you joining us tonight. Remind the people where they can find you on Twitter.
They can find me at Brenden_Smith 26.
Mike, let the people know where they can find you on Twitter.
Letter C, letter D, Piglet guys, nice and easy.
Guys, I'm Paul Ryan. You can find me on Twitter at Paul_Ryan15. We appreciate you joining us, and we'll see you guys next week.
Not bad for